Hello everyone, this is Woo Woo again. Have another video today. This is actually going to be more of an explanation video. It's kind of got two different reasons. One of them being, a lot of you have asked me, wow, you've been really passionate lately. You've been posting a lot and been pretty fired up. I'm going to explain to you the reason why. And this is the total reason why I have been posting my videos in a manner that I have, and this is the reason why you've seen this woo-woo lately as opposed to other ones. So, number 2 part of the video is going to be a reply from my letter I sent to Congress and the President. Went on a congressional website there where you could type up a letter to send to them opposing, not opposing generally, but your thoughts on the gun control bills that are coming up. I sent my response. And Congressman John Shimkus from Illinois replied back to me, and I'm going to read that letter because I was quite impressed. Now, it might be an automatic response, it might be one of his staffers is probably writing it, but nonetheless, his office has been the only one so far since I've written this email to respond. Not even the president has responded back because, he's really busy and everything. So I will go ahead and start with the first part of the video. Why I do what I do and why I am who I am. First, I'd like to start out by saying yet again my disclaimer that sadly in a free country I have to put up here, but my opinions are my opinions only. They do not reflect the opinions of any employer or company that I am affiliated with. Thank you. Now we got that out of the way, we can start with the video. I am who I am because my parents raised me as a patriot. They raised me to be free thinking. They raised me to don't always take things at face value, to investigate them, to find the truth, to not always believe what someone says as the gospel per se, just because they say it. I thank them for that for many reasons, but especially for the whole gun control debate, I very, very much thank them for that. They have given me a foundation to build my life upon and to build my character upon that allows me to think with my brain, not with my heart, not let emotions affect the way I make decisions, and responsibly make those decisions as according to our freedoms in this United States and my beliefs. Freedoms in these United States are very, very important, and the Constitution grants us those freedoms by its amendments. Specifically, the Second Amendment, of course, I talk about a lot, but the First Amendment is very important as well because it allows me to do the exact thing I'm doing right now, which is speak my mind. I've always been a patriot. I've always spoke my mind, but at certain times I've been more low-key. I've sat in the back, and frankly, I'll put it to you this way. I didn't have the balls to really say what I meant. Well, those days are over. If some of you wanted to say this, I have entered my puberty and past it portion of speaking out and saying how I really feel and telling the truth. My balls have finally dropped in that aspect. But the real reason why here recently I've been so passionate is because many of you know my cousin Bradley W. Atwell was killed in Afghanistan in Camp Bastion on an attack by insurgents during the night. Him and his lieutenant colonel that was over him were killed in a firefight, and many other soldiers were injured. My cousin Bradley was a Marine. He was a sergeant in an aviations group that worked on airplanes, among other things. He was very well respected by the people that were under him and over him. All the guys he worked with very much respected him, and first off, he was a Marine, first and foremost, and he carried himself as a Marine all the time, 24/7, 365. It didn't matter if he was home on leave or if he was in Afghanistan or in some other base in post. He was a Marine, and he carried himself as such. He wasn't just a Marine when he had the uniform on. He was as well in his civilian clothes. For that, I respect him very much. You could learn a lot of things from Bradley, and respect was one of the big ones. Bradley also had a big heart, and he loved his family and his friends so much, he was willing to give his life on foreign soil so that we may have our freedoms. Now, some may say that this war is pointless. I can see your arguments, but also I raise you this. If we're not fighting a war on foreign soil, they will bring it to us. Eventually, they'll bring it to us, and we have to stop them over there as much as we can before it comes over here. We're fighting on their land, so naturally they have the advantage, but you really don't want wars on domestic land as much as you would foreign. Bradley taught me a lot, and through his selfless sacrifice, it's something snapped in me, and something struck a nerve. When Bradley died, it was very sad, but yet also it was something that just it awoken a beast inside me, I guess. And that beast was freedom. That beast was fighting for what I believed in and speaking my mind, no matter what kind of powers tried to oppress me from doing so. I was going to speak my mind in the proper times and terms. Sometimes I get a little vocal, but that's only because I feel so passionately about the way that I feel and what I'm talking about. Certain language is used to describe in ways that no other words that are tactfully put can. Bradley, his sacrifice and the outpouring of love and support that he received when he came home, and even before, it made me look around. When we came back to the Air Force Base, when his body was brought back from Dover, Delaware from overseas, we got to stand out on the tarmac and watch him be brought up. It was a very sombering experience, and I realized how many of our patriots, how many of our soldiers has this same exact thing happened to thousands and thousands of times over the years of this war. Since 2003 and before, this has been going on. But then when we took about what should have been about a 20-minute journey, which was 2 hours, I would like to think, when we took that journey from the Air Force Base back into Kokomo and made our rounds before going to the church for visitation, there's where I understood the kind of man and patriot and the well-respected individual that Bradley W. Atwell was. People for miles and miles and miles that had never met Bradley, never in their lives. Some of them knew him, but some of them, I guarantee you, never knew his name before he was killed, were lined up on the side of the roads, waving flags and signs saying, "We love you, Bradley. Thank you for your sacrifice. Thank you for serving your country." Real patriots thankful, not afraid by any other group to come out and speak their mind and show their support for a fallen soldier and a human being. I saw these people that never before knew this man come out in support as if they were his next door neighbor or best friend. I was in awe to see the fire departments, police departments that helped with the escort, when we went under the 2 ladder trucks that had the ladders crisscrossed with a huge American flag, he got to pass right underneath the symbol that represented freedom for this country and that he so greatly sacrificed and fought for. It was amazing, and it left nothing less than goosebumps on the back of my neck. The hair on my neck stood up at this point when I saw the outpouring of love and gratification given. Bradley was respected by people who never knew him because, even though he never knew them, he sacrificed for them and their children and the future of this country. He sacrificed for. And at that point, I knew what I had to do. At that point, I knew that my life from now on will be a life that lived for the support of freedom, for the support of this country, not necessarily its government, but this country and the founding fathers' principles they laid in the Constitution. The ultimate middle finger they gave to the British in 1776 when they declared their independence from a tyrannical reign from a freedom-oppressing government, I would so greatly fight for. Now, I'm too fat to join the military, most likely. I'm a little bit overweight. And at this point in my career, I have a job that allows me to serve others, hopefully without firing a weapon, but giving the gift of life as well, by helping to help someone in need that needs my help. And that is how I choose to serve. But if I had to go back and do it over, would I join the military? Would I do something like that? Maybe so. I can't say 100% for sure, but I know now that after seeing the example that Bradley set in his life, I will not stand by and let freedoms be taken from this country without voicing my opinion and doing as much as I can. That's why I wrote this letter to Congressman John Shimkus and all my other congressional leaders, and also the president. Now, we will go back and we will look actually at the letter I wrote, and then we'll look at the response that Congressman Shimkus gave. First off, here's the response from Congressman Shimkus. Dear Mr. Wooten, I would like to take this opportunity to thank you for writing my office to express your concerns regarding federal gun control legislation. My thoughts and prayers go out to the victims and families affected by the horrific tragedy at Sandy Hook Elementary School. I often hear that if we only had one more gun control law on the books, the Columbine tragedy could have been avoided. While one can argue from different points of view, I think the comments of Mr. Darrell Scott, a father to a victim of the Columbine attack, transcends the sound bites and the intricacies of debate. He testified with wisdom before the House Judiciary Committee on May 27th of 1999. In quote, no amount of gun laws can stop someone who spends months of planning this type of massacre. The real villain lies within our own hearts, unquote. As you may know, I strongly defend the Second Amendment, and I am continually concerned about the erosion of our rights. Generally, I oppose new laws on gun control because often they are repetitive of state law. Most importantly, however, new gun laws end up becoming a burden for the law-abiding citizens of this nation and an infringement on our Second Amendment rights. Many citizens choose to own a firearm for a variety of reasons, for sport, for hunting, and for protection. In my view, these are all good and valid reasons. Unfortunately, in the political fighting over gun control, we often overlook the underlying problems behind many acts of violence. For too long, we have looked the other way instead of addressing the difficult subject of mental health. As we respond to this recent violence, we must also take a careful look at how we can better handle mental health to help troubled individuals before they lash out. Again, thank you for keeping me updated on your concerns regarding gun control and violence. I will be sure to keep your concerns in mind as we have this discussion in Congress. To stay up to date on this and other important issues, I encourage you to follow me on Facebook, and it lists a link to his Facebook. Sincerely, John Shimkus, a member of Congress. Now, that I can respect. That is a response that I can respect. And I thank Congressman Shimkus and or his staff for writing back from his office to reply to probably many of thousands of letters he had already gotten regarding this topic. And I thank him for responding. The letter I wrote, I don't have to read to you because it was sent off and there was no copy made. But basically, it states exactly what I have been saying this whole time on my videos. If you don't know what that is, just watch my previous videos and you'll get the gist very quickly. Now, I stated it in very, very calm and tactful terms. I didn't use any foul language, but I put what I thought, and this is how Congressman Shimkus replied back to me. This video was meant to show you why I do what I do. Now you know. A nerve was struck in me in September when my cousin was killed in Afghanistan because he was a true patriot. And I feel like, to honor his legacy, I shall fight for the freedoms and rights of this country, not necessarily on foreign soil with a gun packed around, but with my words, with my thoughts, and with my heart. I will fight for the freedoms of this country. Again, I thank Congressman Shimkus for replying back. I have a newfound respect for the man now that he has taken the time out of his so busy schedule to probably come and respond to my one email that I wrote him. Thank you guys for listening, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope it sheds a little bit of light on why I do what I do. Thank you, and God bless America.